Have you ever asked yourself, why does it always have to be me? Why am I the one carrying the weight, holding back tears, faking smiles, staying strong for everyone else, while no one even notices I'm breaking? If you're fighting battles no one sees, if you're walking through storms without an umbrella, this is for you. You're not weak. You're not invisible. You're just quietly powerful. The truth is, some of the strongest people in the world cry in silence. They fall apart behind closed doors. They gather their pieces in the dark without applause, without comfort, without anyone asking if they're okay. And you know what? That takes more courage than most people will ever understand. It's easy to talk when someone listens. It's easy to smile when life is kind. But what do you do when no one is watching? That's where character is built. That's where leaders are born. You see, there's something unique about the person who keeps going even when no one claps. No cheering, no hand-holding, no safety net, just you and your will to rise. If you're still moving forward, even slowly, you've already proven you're built differently. Let me ask you something deeper. Why do people break in silence? Because society taught us that asking for help is weakness, that being vulnerable is a flaw. But in reality, the ones who walk through hell quietly, those are the ones who come back changed. They come back unshakable. They come back with eyes that have seen pain and still choose to see purpose. They come back more focused, more dangerous, more real. So if you're walking alone, don't feel sorry for yourself. That loneliness you feel, that's your greatest training ground. That's the place where ordinary breaks and extraordinary is born. Psychology tells us something powerful. Human beings are wired to seek comfort, connection, and certainty. But leaders, real leaders, are the ones who step into discomfort, disconnect from noise, and embrace uncertainty. Why? Because that's where growth happens. Think about it. Pressure creates diamonds. Fire hardens steel. Isolation grows vision. And maybe, just maybe, what you're going through isn't punishment. It's preparation. You're being built to withstand what others can't. Built to lead when others quit. Built to stand tall when others crumble. But here's the part most people miss. Walking alone isn't a curse. It's a calling. It means your path is different. It means your purpose is greater. It means you weren't meant to blend in, follow the crowd, or wait for permission. You're meant to set your own fire, to light up your own way, to inspire people not with noise, but with your presence. Because one day, someone is going to look at you and say they did it without help. They did it without support. They did it without a cheering squad. And if they could, maybe I can too. You are writing someone else's survival manual right now. By the way, you refuse to give up, so hold on. Don't stop. Don't bend. Don't water yourself down for a world that doesn't even see your worth yet. The strongest minds are not loud. They're focused. They're deliberate. They're calm under pressure because they've been through storms others wouldn't survive. And if that's you, if you're carrying pain no one understands, if you're showing up every day even when your soul is tired, if you're fighting battles while still smiling for others, then let me tell you something the world might have forgotten to say. I see you. You matter. And you're not weak for walking alone. You're powerful beyond belief. Don't stop now, because there's something waiting on the other side of this fight, and it's not just survival, it's freedom, it's clarity, it's purpose. You just have to keep going. And if you stay with this message till the end, you'll not only learn how to walk like a leader, you'll understand how to talk like one. And more than that, you'll finally realize you were never alone. You were just ahead. You didn't choose this path because it was easy. You chose it because something inside you whispered, there's more. You walk alone not because you're unloved, but because you're becoming someone who doesn't need to be understood by everyone. Growth often starts where comfort ends. And when you stop seeking company just to feel safe, you start finding your power. Most people fear being alone, not because of the silence, but because of what that silence reveals. It shows you the truth about who you are, the truth about what you've been tolerating, the truth about what you really want out of this life. And that's uncomfortable. That's why they stay busy, stay distracted, stay surrounded by noise. But you stepped away. That takes guts, because when you walk alone, you meet yourself. You're forced to confront your doubts, your fears, your past. And in that confrontation, you get stronger. Psychologists say one of the most powerful forms of resilience comes from internal self-talk. The way you speak to yourself when no one's around, it shapes your entire reality. So when you walk alone, your mind becomes your mentor or your enemy. That's why most never make it through. They crumble in silence because they never learned how to lead themselves. But you're different. You're not here for average. You're here to evolve. Walking alone doesn't mean you're lost. It means you trust yourself enough to go without a map. So keep walking, even if they laugh, even if they question you, even if they leave, because you're not walking for them. You're walking for who you're becoming. And when you reach that version of yourself, you'll look back at this lonely road and you'll realize it wasn't lonely after all. It was sacred. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the classroom where strength is taught. You weren't broken by what you went through. You were built by it. Every time life knocked you down and you got back up, something inside you grew, something that can't be measured, something that no one can see, but everyone can feel when you walk into a room. It's power, real, quiet, earned power. You see, people spend their lives avoiding pain. They fear it, run from it, hide behind comfort. But comfort doesn't teach. Comfort doesn't challenge. Comfort doesn't awaken the warrior within. Only pain can do that. According to psychology, resilience is born from what's called post-traumatic growth. It's the process where those who endure struggle not only recover, but rise even stronger, more focused, and more capable than before. You didn't just survive what you went through, you evolved, because every sleepless night, every broken promise, every lonely battle was a lesson, a message, a sharpening of your spirit. That's why you think differently now. That's why you feel deeper, trust slower, and move with more purpose. You've been through fire, and you didn't melt. You solidified. And here's the part they'll never understand. Your pain gave you perspective. It taught you that people leave, but purpose stays. It showed you that not every loss is a defeat. Some are directions. So stop apologizing for your scars. They're proof you fought. They're proof you've healed. They're proof you're real. And above all, they're proof that pain didn't break you. It built you into someone unstoppable. You don't become a leader when people follow you. You become a leader when you keep walking, even when no one believes in you. Greatness doesn't begin in the spotlight. It begins in silence, in isolation, in the moments when you wonder if it's even worth it. But that's where the foundation is built. That's where real vision is born, not in the noise of praise, but in the stillness of pressure. History remembers the names of leaders, but forgets the nights they cried, the days they doubted, the moments they nearly gave up. Because leadership doesn't look like power at first. It looks like pain. It looks like loneliness. It looks like pushing forward when nothing is working. Psychology tells us that true leadership is rooted in self-regulation, the ability to manage your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors in the face of adversity. And where do you learn that? Not when things are easy. You learn that in the dark. That's when you're forced to choose discipline over distraction, focus over fear, purpose over pleasure. It's in the dark that you stop trying to impress and start trying to improve. It's where you outgrow old habits, release toxic attachments, and start moving like the person you were always meant to be. Because once you've faced the darkness within you, no darkness around you can shake you. The world may not see your process, but they'll feel the result. They'll see the presence you carry, the calm you command, the strength you don't need to explain. You don't become a leader by asking for it. You become one by becoming someone people can't ignore because of the light you built in your darkest hour. Just because no one claps doesn't mean you're not speaking truth. Just because they don't respond doesn't mean your words have no weight. Your voice matters, even when it echoes back in silence, even when it shakes, even when it's ignored, because power isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it speaks once, and the world listens later. You weren't given a voice just to speak when it's easy. You were given a voice to speak when it's right, and most won't understand that, because they speak to be heard, but you speak to bring change. There's a quiet kind of leadership that doesn't need a stage. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't beg for attention. It simply speaks when it matters and lets the message do the work. Psychology teaches us that authentic communication, the kind that builds real influence, isn't about volume. It's about alignment. When your words reflect your values, when your actions match your message, people may not cheer, but they feel your integrity. And integrity moves people, even in silence. You don't have to convince everyone. You don't have to explain yourself to people who never care to understand, because true leaders don't talk for applause. They talk for impact. So keep speaking truth. Keep setting boundaries. Keep saying no when you mean no, and yes when you're ready, not when they pressure you. Even if your voice is the only sound in the room, speak with purpose. Even if they walk away, speak with courage. Even if they doubt you, speak with clarity. Because one day, your silence will have shaped your presence, and your words, measured, intentional, fearless, will echo in places your name has never been. The world gets uncomfortable around quiet strength because they can't control it. They can't figure it out, and what they can't understand, they usually judge. You've felt it, haven't you? The way people question your silence, the way they misread your peace as arrogance, the way they try to test you just to see if you'll break. But here's the truth. They don't judge you because you're weak. They judge you because you make them confront their own insecurities. You're not loud. You're not desperate. You don't need the room's attention to feel worthy. And that kind of confidence, it shakes people who rely on noise to feel seen. Psychology calls this self-possession, the ability to stay centered in who you are no matter what the world throws at you. It's rare. It's powerful. And most people don't know how to react to it. They expect you to seek validation, to chase approval, to play small just to make others feel big, but you don't. You walk into the room fully aware of your value without announcing it. You carry the kind of presence that speaks without speaking. And yes, people will misread it. They'll say you're cold. They'll say you're distant. They'll say you think you're better. Let them. Because you know the truth. You're not better. You're just focused. You're just healing. You're just not here to perform anymore. You've seen what happens when you shrink yourself to fit in, or you lose yourself. So now, you stand tall. You speak when it matters. And you walk with confidence, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Because you didn't come this far to be understood by people who haven't even begun their journey. You came to lead. You want to be free? Then master yourself. Not the world, not other people. Yourself. Because freedom doesn't come from escaping pressure. It comes from owning it. Real power is quiet. It's built in small, invisible choices. Waking up when you don't feel like it. Showing up when no one's watching. Saying no to what feels good now to protect what you want most. That's discipline. And discipline is rare because it requires sacrifice. But here's what psychology tells us. People who delay gratification, who train their minds to focus long-term, are more likely to succeed, lead, and find peace. Why? Because they're not driven by moods. They're driven by mission. Most people are ruled by impulses. They quit when it's hard. They rest when they're tired, not when they're finished. They talk big but act small because they never trained their minds to follow through. But you walk alone for a reason. You're building habits that don't break under pressure. You're rewriting patterns. You're sharpening your focus. And even if it feels slow, even if no one notices right now, every small decision is stacking something massive. Discipline doesn't feel like freedom at first. It feels like limitation. But eventually, it sets you apart. Because when others are stuck in cycles, you'll be miles ahead, calm, clear, and in control. So train your mind to do hard things. Choose discomfort on purpose. Prove to yourself that you don't need motivation. You have commitment. Because once your discipline becomes your lifestyle, nothing can own you, nothing can shake you, nothing can stop you. You won't need to be pushed anymore. You'll become the push. You ever feel like everyone's ahead of you? Like they've figured it out, and you're just stuck? Let me tell you something real. You're not behind. You're being prepared. There's a difference. Life has a pace, and yours is perfectly timed. You're not late. You're not early. You're right where you're meant to be, learning what you need before you can carry what's coming. Because if it came too soon, you wouldn't be ready. Most people chase speed. They want quick success, fast results, instant validation. But quick climbs rarely last, because if you skip the struggle, you skip the strength. Psychologists call this growth readiness, the process of internal development that must happen before sustainable success is possible. So if it's taking time, it means something deep is being built. You're not behind. You're being trained to handle pressure, trained to stay grounded, trained to stand alone. So when the storm comes, you don't break. It's not punishment, it's preparation. Every delay is shaping your patience. Every setback is sharpening your wisdom. Every closed door is redirecting you to something stronger. And when it finally arrives, the opportunity, the breakthrough, the moment you prayed for, you won't just step into it, you'll own it. Because you waited, you grew. You did the work no one saw. So stop comparing, stop rushing. Your journey isn't slow. It's sacred. There is no timeline for greatness, only readiness. And you're getting ready whether you can see it or not. Not everyone who started with you is meant to finish with you. And that's not betrayal, that's growth. You're allowed to outgrow people. You're allowed to leave behind conversations that drain you. You're allowed to walk away from circles that keep you small. It's not pride, it's progress. See, when you start to heal, when you start to rise, when you start choosing peace over drama and purpose over noise, people notice, and not everyone likes it, because your growth challenges their comfort. Your boundaries threaten their control. Your silence exposes their chaos. And that's where the friction begins. Psychologically, it's called relational dissonance, when one person evolves and the emotional balance of the relationship shifts. Suddenly, you don't laugh at the same jokes. You don't tolerate the same gossip. You don't pretend everything's fine just to keep the peace. You've changed, and that's okay, because the cost of staying the same just to keep others comfortable is losing yourself. And you've already come too far for that. So let them say you've changed. Let them say you're distant. Let them call you cold. You don't owe anyone the older version of you just because they're more comfortable with it. You're building a new life. One with meaning, one with boundaries, one with peace, and not everyone gets a seat at that table. Outgrowing people doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally care enough about yourself to stop shrinking for people who never planned to grow. So walk your path, even if it means walking alone, even if it means leaving people behind who once felt like family, even if it hurts. Because your future depends on who you're becoming, not who you used to be. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Your energy is not unlimited. It's not something you can waste on every argument, every distraction, every person who wants a piece of you without earning it. You see, what drains you controls you. And too many people give away their peace just to please others. But here's the truth. You can't save anyone if you're empty. That constant tension in your chest, that exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, that's the cost of not guarding your energy. Psychology tells us your emotional energy is just as vital as your physical strength. And when your energy is mismanaged, your decisions suffer, your focus breaks, and your confidence fades. It's not selfish to protect your peace, it's survival. So if something feels heavy every time you walk into it, leave. If someone drains you more than they inspire you, let go. If a habit steals your clarity, cut it off. Because your dreams require energy. Your healing requires energy. Becoming the person you're meant to be requires energy. And you don't have time to keep leaking it for things that aren't aligned. Don't wait for burnout to finally choose balance. Choose it now. Say no when you mean no. Rest without guilt. Let go of people who only come to take. Because when your energy is focused, you move faster, think sharper, live freer, and most importantly, you stop begging the world for what you already have inside: peace, power, presence. So from this moment forward, guard your energy like it's gold, because it is. And the version of you you're chasing, it depends on how you manage it. You don't need to announce your every move. You don't need to explain your vision. You don't need permission to level up. The real ones move in silence because they know the power of quiet work. The louder you are, the more people expect. The more you post, the more you invite doubt. The more you explain, the more you give others a chance to shoot it down. But when you move in silence, you protect the most sacred thing, your focus. Psychology calls this the secrecy effect. When your goals stay private, your motivation stays protected. You don't waste time defending your direction. You just keep walking it. You don't need applause to stay consistent. You don't need to be seen to be successful. You don't need others to understand because your actions are building proof. See, real strength doesn't beg for validation. It doesn't flex for attention. It just shows up every single day, no cameras, no crowd, just commitment. Let others talk. Let them guess. Let them wonder where you went. You're busy transforming. Your silence is not weakness, it's discipline. It's self-respect. It's the calm before the storm they never saw coming. You're not disappearing, you're becoming. And when it's time to speak, it won't be through words. It'll be through results, through impact, through presence. So stay quiet, stay focused, stay dangerous. Because the ones who build in silence shake the world without warning. Anyone can look strong when life is easy. Anyone can smile when everything's going right. But pressure exposes the truth. It shows who's real, who's ready, and who's just pretending. Because when life squeezes you, your habits speak, your mindset speaks, your discipline, your fears, your inner dialogue, it all shows up. That's why pressure isn't your enemy. It's your mirror. Psychology proves that under high stress, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems, which means when you're under pressure, you default to what you've built, not what you hope for, not what you post about, but what you've practiced. So if you've trained yourself to stay calm when it's hard, to keep moving when it's heavy, to speak life over yourself when no one else does, you win. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Pressure doesn't mean something's wrong. It means something powerful is being formed. Diamonds are made in it. Champions are shaped by it. Leaders are proven through it. So stop asking why it's so hard and start asking what it's revealing. Is it showing you your limits, or is it showing you your potential? Is it breaking you or building you? Remember, your character is not revealed in comfort. It's revealed when nothing is certain, but you keep going anyway. That's how confidence is built. That's how unshakable faith is formed. That's how you become someone even pressure can't crush. Let the weight shape you. Let the struggle teach you. Let the pressure reveal the version of you that's been waiting to come alive. Because the real you don't break. You build. People fear being alone, but not you. You've learned to use it. Loneliness doesn't break you. It builds you. Because when you're alone, there are no distractions, no noise, no mask to wear, just you and the truth. And that truth, it's where real power begins. Psychology says solitude increases self-awareness. It sharpens clarity. It helps you hear your own voice again, the one that got buried under opinions, pressure, and noise. In loneliness, you stop performing. You stop people-pleasing. You stop waiting for someone to save you, and you become your own rescue. It's where you start building silently, healing intentionally, thinking deeply. Most avoid that silence because it forces them to face what they've been running from. But you faced it. You sat in the fire. You let it burn away the lies, the doubt, the weakness. And when you came out, you weren't the same, because alone is where warriors are trained. It's where leaders are born. It's where clarity replaces confusion and conviction replaces fear. So if you feel like you're walking alone right now, don't curse it. Use it. This is your sharpening season, your elevation, your separation from the ordinary. You don't need a crowd to be chosen. You don't need company to be called. You don't need constant support to become unstoppable. You just need to remember the greatest changes in your life will often begin in the quietest seasons. So embrace the silence. Let it grow you. Let it turn your loneliness into leadership. Because soon enough, the world will hear from the version of you that solitude created. Remember the version of you that was confused, lost, hurting, and didn't know how to speak up? You're not that person anymore, because every step you've taken, every scar you carry, every lonely battle you've fought has shaped you into someone stronger. And now, you're becoming the person you once needed, the one who didn't give up, the one who kept going even with a broken heart, the one who stood up even when no one stood beside them. You didn't come this far just to survive. You came to lead, to lift others, to speak what you once needed to hear. Psychology calls this post-traumatic growth. When pain doesn't just leave a wound, it leaves wisdom. It builds resilience. It awakens your calling. That means your past wasn't a waste. The pain wasn't pointless. The struggle wasn't silent. It was preparation. Now, You understand people on a deeper level. You know how it feels to break and still rebuild. You've walked through storms and kept your soul intact. You've become someone solid, someone grounded, someone others will one day look at and say, because of them, I didn't give up. So don't hide your story. Don't downplay your journey. What you carry isn't just survival, it's strategy. It's the blueprint for someone else's breakthrough. The pain that almost destroyed you is now the reason you lead with empathy, speak with power, and walk with purpose. You're not broken, you're becoming. And the person you needed, that strong, calm, brave presence you once longed for, look in the mirror. That's you now. One day they'll look at you and ask, how did you do it? How did you stay strong when everything was against you? How did you keep going when no one believed in you? How did you rise from nothing and become this? And you'll smile, because they won't understand what it cost. The late nights, the silence, the loneliness, the pain you never posted about, the tears you wiped quietly, and the days you showed up when every part of you wanted to disappear. But you'll know. You'll remember how you built yourself from the ground up, how you turned every no into fuel, how you used every loss as a lesson, how you walked through every fire and refused to let it burn your soul. That's the power of the ones who walk alone. They don't need recognition to rise. They don't need applause to keep moving. They're driven by something deeper, vision. Psychologically, this is called intrinsic motivation, when you're no longer chasing validation, but pulled forward by purpose. That's what separates winners from dreamers. So keep going. Even if they don't see you yet, even if they laugh, question, or walk away, because soon they won't just see you. They'll study you. They'll quote you. They'll ask you how you stayed calm in chaos, how you turned pressure into power, how you kept faith alive in the dark. And you'll answer, I refuse to quit on the person I was becoming. You didn't fold. You didn't beg. You didn't settle. You endured. You grew, and that's what makes you unstoppable.